the community voted to have a deer hunt, and now you postponed it. So what's going to happen if this winter somebody gets unfortunately injured to the point of disabled? Because that deer would have been dead if we did the deer hunt as the citizens said they wanted. I think that if we did...
Sorry, Joe, you're about to run out of time.
If we did choose to behave in a manner that isn't reactionary, we would instead plan with mutually agreed upon goals, analyzing the cost versus the benefit, and that really spells change of form of government. If you had a change in the form of government to a city manager form, you'll have your control over the department heads because you'll have control of the city manager. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. All right, Charles Ragsdale. Charles?
Good evening. Thank you for letting me address you. I am speaking about the proposed ordinance amendments for multifamily dwelling houses. In purchasing the house across the street from 285 Spring Street, we did take a look at the city files on all of the neighboring houses when we bought our property, and we did see that every CUP request that had ever been made of that property had either been rejected outright because of extensive opposition by almost all of the surrounding neighborhood owners that would be impacted by such conditional use. They had also some that had been withdrawn by the owners after the city had instructed them to remediate illegal land leveling and destruction of city green space in an attempt to create off-street parking to make the property eligible for a CUP. Under the existing ordinances, no CUP can be within an existing 200-foot similar use. This house does have that restriction, and I think that would have probably prevented any CUPs as far back as the last request for a CUP in 2000. All of the neighborhood did object to even turning it into a bed and breakfast, which of course has a lot less impact on the neighborhood than a multifamily dwelling will. So we feel that this process actually nullifies the area property owner's right to object and require a supermajority vote to overrule the neighborhood's objections to issuing a conditional use or allowing a continuance of what was at that time actually an illegally non-conforming use. There had been a rejection on a CUP request withdrawn to turn it into a multifamily dwelling unit that was actually withdrawn on 7/11 of 2000, according to the House's city file. So we feel that if it was in use as a multifamily dwelling, only a few months later, when the ordinance changes went into effect in November of 2000, when this additional listing of all of these houses were left out of the ordinances, it seems that the property was already not a legally conforming use at that time. It was actually, if anything, illegally if it was in fact used as a 3-unit dwelling. There were only additional meters being added to the property during that time period. I would request that rather than voting a third time to approve the ordinance, that instead that you please delay and at least take a look at the property files on each of these houses. It is fairly easy to document where there have been objections to CUPs or non-conforming use. Also, the property was vacant for over a year. I would like the city to please consider that any non-conforming use or conditional use seems to expire automatically after 180 days of non-use. So thank you, please.
Thank you, sir. I can't read the last name on the public comments list, so I guess whoever's left outside needs to come on in. I can't read it. It looks like an R and a P, a T.
That's Ray Dotson.
Is that Ray Dotson? Okay. All right, Ray, you want to come up here now, or you want to wait till your deal?
Put it on the comment list.
Okay.
In case I didn't get on.
Okay. All right.
It took me a while
Then
to
that's it.
figure it out.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Levine's got one more.
Real quick, I forgot to mention that you have is merely a draft. The Trails Committee is meeting Saturday evening, and the Commission meets Monday to put it in its final form, so that there may be changes in that.
Thank you, sir. Okay, there's no more public comment. We'll start under unfinished business. Number 1, under unfinished business is discussion of ordinance to amend Parks Enabling Ordinance. It stated it was postponed until today, September the 15th. Ms. Raphael, Ballance, and Dr. Kirkpatrick. Motion to discuss? We didn't postpone it or cancel it.
Motion to discuss.
Okay, second?
Second.
Made and seconded, discussion's open.
I lost it. Is that it? I'd like to see this ordinance given our number and passed. Everybody's had a copy of it. Everybody's had a chance to read it over.
I don't have a copy.
Excuse me. I have
Yes,
no
sir.
idea what's being discussed here. I have no paperwork, no documentation, zero.
I don't have a copy of that one. I don't think anybody does. Ms. Clerk, do you have?
I've had a copy since about the
Have one?
middle of June.
I had a copy.
We've actually talked about it before at this table. I'm definitely interested in at least talking about this. Mr. Parnell pointed out the last time we discussed it that the ordinance number that it addresses is probably not the proper ordinance to address. So obviously it needs a lot of work. But I'm interested in at least discussing it, and
Is there a number on it?
there, it's not been
No
assigned
number?
a number. No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Floor's open, guys.
I would move to have our city attorney have a look at this. And see if we can come up with, see if we can clean this ordinance up and make it something we could actually talk about in an informed manner.
Motion?
Second day.
Motion made to submit it to Mr. Weaver for perusal. Made and seconded.
One question.
Yes.
Can you read the title of that?
An ordinance amending ordinance number 1906 passed November 2002 concerning the city of Eureka Springs parks and recreational facilities, declaring an emergency and prescribing other matters pertaining to. So obviously this was an emergency because it's been going on since several weeks ago, although people got really upset that it said it was going to be emergency, but it really isn't. But I think it's something we need to talk about and look at and maybe come to a conclusion.
Before you settle me with it, I would like somebody that's in sponsor of it who's going to be the person who tells me what you really want it to say, because that ordinance doesn't do anything right now, the way it's written.
Well, there's a motion on the table.
So if you
We're
send it to
we're
me,
still
I
under
don't know
discussion
what to
now.
do with it. I'm telling you right now, you'll get it back just like it is, because I don't know what to do with it, because I don't know what you want to do with it.
Do we need to have a workshop to talk? I mean, we can't talk to each other about this. I think I have an idea where this is trying to go, but I'm not sure about it. Do we need to have a workshop to discuss it?
Do you remember when we discussed this? Because I don't
It's
recall it.
been, I could find out.
Okay. I'll go back and check the minutes for that meeting. Mr. Berry?
This goes back to what we've been talking about for the last month. It's actually in conflict with our state law that enables and establishes the Parks and Recreation Commission. And again, this ordinance, as it was written, it got tabled because it was in conflict with that state law, and it basically says that the city council is going to modify and approve any work that goes on any land, properties, or other assets managed or maintained by the Parks Department and Parks Commission. And we obviously do not have that authority. We cannot even create that authority, even if we tried to write an ordinance saying that we have that authority, because the state law says we can't do it. I don't know why we keep on going over and over this thing, except that there's obviously some people that are not happy with the Parks Commission, and they want to change it to allow the city council to have control over it. And they can't do that under our present ordinance, or under the present, which we're operating under our present existing state statute. What I said the last time, if the council does not want or like the Parks Commission, they need to come up with an ordinance abolishing the commission, abolishing the ordinance, and go back and establish a department. This one won't work. It won't work under a workshop or anything else. We can't do it.
Mr. Weaver?
As I understand what's on the paper, and as was said at the last discussion when this was tabled, it basically is trying to abolish something without abolishing it, because it's trying to remove all the power from the commission. And that's why if you're going to saddle me with trying to draft your ordinance so that it can be presented to the table in a different form, I need to know if that's really what the intent is of the ordinance, or if it is to somehow otherwise do something.
So, you're saying our only option, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying the only option toward the public having some input through their elected representatives on the Parks Department is to do away with the Parks Department. Is that what you're telling me?
No, you have an influence over the Parks Department at this time by appointing and approving commissioners. And you do have certain other powers controlling parks property. But you can't supervise the day-to-day business under the state statute. Unless you abolish it.
Okay.
So I don't know really what your intent is for sure with what you've got drafted or what you're reading there.
Okay, we've got a motion on the floor, and we've got a second to give it to Mr. Weaver. It's up to the folks that made the motion and the second. It's in their ballpark. You want to withdraw it
I'll
and
withdraw
make
my
another
motion.
motion?
I withdraw.
Okay, motion withdrawn, second withdrawn. Okay,
Mr. Mayor,
yes, sir.
regarding this, are we just withdrawing this so we can bring it back up for the next council meeting? Or are we going to,
If it's withdrawn now, it's off the agenda.
It's off.
period, we're done?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, chances are we'll come back with something entirely different. Thank you.
Okay, number 2, FOIA workshop date. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Made and seconded. Been in touch with Mr. Hayes. He has been in Chicago this week and will be in Chicago part of next week. Apparently they keep him running pretty hard. You should have received an email from me with information regarding a workshop put on by the Attorney General's office. I believe it's next week in Fayetteville. I don't have. Do you have it here? Okay, I may have it. But and let me just read this because this will be for anybody that wants to go, but not just council members. Excuse me. FOIA workshop scheduled for September the 20th in Fayetteville, Arkansas. This came from the Attorney General's office, which states Little Rock Attorney General Dustin McDaniel and the Arkansas Press Association will host a free informational workshop on the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act on Tuesday, September the 20th in Fayetteville, Arkansas. The FOIA Roadshow will run from 10:15 a.m. to 1:45 p.m. at the E.J. Ball courtroom of the University of Arkansas School of Law, located at 1045 West Maple Street in Fayetteville. Any Arkansan interested in learning more about the state's public meetings and public records law is encouraged to attend the seminar. The Freedom of Information Act is the public's law enacted in the public interest, and so we believe it's important for all Arkansans to understand the law, McDaniel said. We are glad to join the Arkansas Press Association to host this informational event and encourage citizens and local officials who want to know more about FOIA to attend. The Fayetteville Road Show follows successful similar events held in Little Rock, Jonesboro earlier this year. There's another one slated for Arkadelphia in November. Participants in the September 20th event in Fayetteville will hear presentations from the Attorney General's office about the law's applicability and its exemptions. Also scheduled are question and answer sessions and a panel discussion by journalists and attorneys. Attorneys who, okay, I don't need to read that one. If you have any comments, if you want to register this, I have an email address of info@arkansaspress.org, info@arkansaspress.org, or call 501-374-1500.
Oh, what's the date again?
September the 20th.
Tuesday.
And time?
From 10:15 a.m. to 1:45 at the E.J. Ball Courtroom, School of Law, on campus University. 1045 Maple Street. Mr. DeVito.
Well, just from the list of cities that have been having this, these appear to be regional informational seminars. I don't see how we could come close to providing a panel like what's going to be at the one in Fayetteville, and we're only 45-minute drive over there, so I really feel that anything we do here would be redundant and of less impact. So I would just encourage everybody to attend one that's already established with a much better panel than we could put together.
Mr. Raphael.
I just want to mention that that's school election day that day.
School election day? Okay.
We have early voting. You can vote today if you want.
Okay. So is the council's recommendation to go to this one, or you still want the one set up by?
I would make a motion to do away with the one here in Eureka Springs and direct everybody to the Fayetteville one on September the 20th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yes, ma'am. Made and seconded? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Discussion?
Okay, yeah. I thought we were doing that.
Well, the discussion is, and I think I heard a comment from outside, is that because it is school election, it may conflict with some of the people that are working the polls.
Okay.
So,
Well, I can't change that.
I know. I'm just making that comment.
Nailing Mr. Hayes down is getting to be an astronomical effort, so I cannot tell you when he's going to have it. He said in his email to me that no one has contacted him directly by email. So.
Were we supposed to?
Yeah, I told you last council meeting that he would take comments by email, personal comments, for about the dates and the times and the places.
Oh, I sent comments in to somebody that...
You sent them to me, and I forwarded them on to him.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're the only one.
Oh, okay.
Mr. DeVito.
Well, you know, every time they get in the car and drive to a destination, it's tax dollars at work. You know, I just feel, you know, it's redundant. It's probably not the best use of tax dollars to be trying to schedule something else here at a later date when, like I said before, you've got a stellar panel there that'll probably field more questions than we could ever hope to bring out. So I just once again reiterate that, you know, it seems like a better use of tax dollars to go with the one that's already scheduled in Fayetteville.
Ms. Ballance.
If I recall correctly, Mr. Parnell was the alderperson that brought this forward, and he's not here to talk about it tonight, so I'm hesitant to totally discontinue consideration of this without input from my colleague. That's all.
Okay. All right. Motion's been made and seconded to attend the one over here and delete the one by AML. Is that correct? Is that the motion?
Correct.
All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay. Motion carried
Parker, what's your
4-1.
vote?
4-1. Okay. All right. Number 3 is postponed. Number 4 is postponed. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are postponed. That brings us down to number 10.
No.
Wait. We
Nine
didn't
is still
postpone 9.
9?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we postponed that one.
No.
I tried.
Okay. Okay, number 9 is open. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, made and seconded. Discussion's open. Ms. Balance.
I move to postpone this until our next meeting so we can do the research that we need to do.
Any further? Is there a second? Made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
No.
I heard 3 votes. Yes, yes. Could we do it again, please?
Okay, you just do a roll call on it. This seems to be easier.
Mr. Raphael?
Yes.
Dr. Kirkpatrick?
Yes.
Ms. Ballance?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. DeVito?
No.
No. Okay. 4-1.
Okay, postponed.
Thank you.
Number 10, ordinance to codify parks quarter-cent sales tax. Mr. DeVito and Mr. Berry, this is to amend the sunset clause from the Parks Department on the, that's my understanding from the last time.
I think we're supposed to have an ordinance.
I don't have your ordinance ready yet, so I would ask your indulgence to give me a little more time to finish it.
Move to postpone.
Second.
Made and seconded to postpone till Mr. Weaver gets the ordinance done. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, under new business, number 1 is Mr. Ray Dotson's carriages. Mr. Dotson is here. Mr. Dotson? Oh, motion to discuss. I'm sorry. Hang on a
So
second.
moved.
All right.
Second.
Made and seconded? All right. I'll let Mr. Dotson come up and give his speech. Okay, sir.
Mayor, Council, thank you for your indulgence and let me speak with you tonight. Spent a little time this afternoon in Eureka Springs, just enjoying the weather, and went by the little place up here through Good Shepherd and looking for the Singy puppy dog that I had lost a couple months ago, and trying to find another one, and you know, I first came to this city in 1979 on my honeymoon. My wife and I got married, and we stayed at the Ozarks, at the inn of the Ozarks out here, and ever since then I've been coming back, and I appreciate the mayor for putting me back on the agenda. I had a application on the agenda here, and I'm not asking you all to do anything tonight. I'm just going to visit with you a little bit and tell you what I got on my mind, and we hope we can get this thing resolved. There's a few things under the state law that's a little bit confusing to some, not to me, but planning on my goal is to start running my carriage business on the state highway out here in Eureka Springs. I'd like to get you all's blessings on it, but I think you need to go back and look at your ordinance on your franchise taxes. I think that's it's in a little gray area with your franchise tax. I think I'm in my rights, and I'm gonna operate on my rights, what I feel that I'm entitled to by a citizen and by the laws of the state of Arkansas. And I'm gonna start running my carriages just as soon as I got a little issue with personal issue with my wife. As soon as I get that taken care of, then I'll be back over, and hopefully by that time you all have enough time to relook at your ordinance on your franchise fees with your carriages, which I gave some information in your box. Did you all get the information from me? I didn't want to catch you all blindside you with it. I wanted to give it to you and show you what the state law was, what the state laws allows, what the Attorney General's opinion is, and we feel that with the economy like it is right now, things are tough. I'm in the glass business, and it's tough. And I got carriages and I got horses, and I want to put them to work. And I got a business 539 miles away from my home, and I can also run another one 30 miles away from my home. And I live in Springdale. And I'd like to just pass out a few of the photos that I'm planning on the carriages I'm running. See, clerk, would you mind passing them around for me? You'll see they got some real nice equipment. We're first class. We're permitted in the city of Springdale. We're permitted in the city of Fayetteville, and we're permitted in the city of Fort Worth, Texas. We're working in San Antonio. So basically, this is becoming a full-time business. Spend a little time on the internet with the local carriage company, and as a businessman, you gotta understand your competition that's out there, and I really don't feel that Tom's competition. I just think he's anybody that's in the horse industry is a positive thing. I just looked at his website on the 10th. September the 10th, he takes bookings for his carriage rides, and every weekend, if you look, he's booked up. So that's telling me there's room here. If he's running 3 carriages and he's got them all booked up, that's telling me there's other business for Eureka Springs customers that come in here. As far as I spent a lot of time over here, and I haven't seen him set up on a curbside business. His signs down there says reservation only. We will do reservations with our website. We'll have people coming in and booking carriage rides, hotels, and restaurants, and we can take them to and from wherever they want to go on the state highway to the restaurants. And there's some that we're dealing with that's on this street and on Highway 62. So, saying that, I came and applied, I guess back in December, I guess it was, and the council chose to go a different direction, and that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's water under the bridge. I'm just simply a businessman, and I'm in the, unfortunately, I guess for some of the people I compete with is, I'm in the carriage business here, and there's a carriage business here in Eureka, but he's got 2 franchises, and I applied for one, didn't get it, so it sort of left me no option to do what the law I feel allows me to do. And I became a member of the Good Shepherds today, and as soon as we get to run in here, we'll become a member of the chamber. We'll be an asset to this community. We just need an opportunity to prove to you all what we can do. And when I put my carriages out here on the street, they're going to be first class. And you can look on my other websites, on the blogs, what people says about my carriage business. I've got a large business in Fort Worth, Texas. Since I've talked to this body last, I got a 46,000 square foot building that we do horseback rides out of. We do stagecoach rides out of, carriage rides out of. I got 2 large petting zoos in Fort Worth. So we're committed to the horse carriage industry. And I'm going to try to, we're already working on the city of Branson, trying to get carriages there. So, I got good key people, and I try to hire people locally to run my carriages. And once I get established here, get set up, that's what we'll be going after is is local people that we either already know how to drive a carriage, or we'll train them how to drive a carriage. And I just want to tell you, appreciate your time. I'm hoping everything's going to work out for you all and work out for me. And Mayor, again, I appreciate you taking the time and putting me back on the agenda, and hopefully this will be good for the whole entire city of Eureka.